see. Let's get this centered. Oops, not quite there. Oh, we need light. More light there. Hello, welcome. I have a special guest. Let's see here. I have a special guest today that I want to introduce you to. This is my girlfriend's little dog, Taquita. Say hi. Hi, how are you? Taquita wants to say hello. She wants to just sit in my lap and chill. I was going to show you something. Let me see if I can do this. If I go here, I have a couple of pictures I can show you. You got to hang out with me today. This is a hangout, right? Go like this, go to, I think I have Dropbox. Oh, they don't make it easy. More Dropbox. Where's Dropbox? Oh, man. I updated the system, and of course, they've changed everything around. Oh, I got to go to Dropbox app. That's what I'll do. So anyway, I hope you are well. If you look at this interface of Unify, you'll notice it looks a little differently. Let's see, photos. Oh, it's still uploading. It's going to pop up notifications of uploading. Let's see, upload, photos. I got to show you this picture. It's really cute. So that one, that one, that one, and we'll do that one. What the heck? Oh. Upload photos. 1, 2, 3. Next. Yep, to camera uploads. Okay. We'll see if they'll show up. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to this live stream. My name is John Skippy Limcool. We have a lot to look at today. We have massive updates we've been doing to Unify. We are now essentially at what will be version 1. And now we have a lot of, the work we still have to do is pretty insane. But I can show you our feature set and how it's going to look. We've got names of the effects. It's no longer just stereo delay. It's now called the Omega delay. We don't have... At some point, we will be updating this where all of our plugins will have really cool, unique interfaces, graphic-wise and stuff like that. But that's a low priority to us. It's more important that we can get this out and that it works and that it has the features that we want more than it has a cool background that matches the name. And so we're going to be releasing with it looking like this. And then there's going to be a free update in 6 months or less or whenever, I don't know, that will update the graphics of all of these to look really cool. Stuff like that will be coming. So that's happening. We also have, let's see here, this. Hello. This is Union. This is a new synthesizer that just showed up out of thin air. It is the second synthesizer in 2 weeks that's under $10. I think this one's like $7.99, $7, somewhere around there. I mean, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. These companies are trying a business model of releasing new synthesizers super, super cheap, trying to get lots and lots of sales. This is still definitely beta in some senses because like when changing patches, the CPU spike is huge. It like freaks out the audio and it makes it drop off in my ears. I don't know if it drops off for you or not, but we will look at this and talk about what it does. I haven't worked with it a whole lot. I've been busy with other stuff, but it has some cool concepts that I understand the concept of that we can talk about. We also have this, which is really interesting. Gadget 2 just was introduced, and Gadget 2, I believe, is only for the Mac, for the version which has plugins and their sequencing interface is kind of weird. But the big plus with this is the plugins of Gadget 2. You can buy a version which gives you all, I think, 43 plugins. I can't load them without the interface doing something weird. We have to solve this. We haven't been able to solve it yet. But look at this. When you go to the Korg instruments here, all instruments to Korg. All of these plugins, not all of them, because WaveStation, MS-20, M1, some of these are part of their digital collection, but all of these that have a, in the quotation marks, are plugins that come with Gadget 2. And it's really, really cool to have them as separate plugins versus kind of the way Propeller Heads is doing it, where, do I have Propeller Heads down here? I might not have scanned it in. I can show you, that's one of the cool things with Unify. Let me make sure the chat is going and that there are people there. I haven't even called up the chat yet. Kind of flying wildly today. YouTube Live. There we go. Let's see what's going on. Hey, there's a few of you here. Yay. Yeah, Eunice at the CPU. Cool. Good afternoon. Good to see you guys. There's a whole month yet to have Unify. Yeah, it's going to be December for Unify, just because of scheduling. And I'll explain that when we get to talking about Unify in a bit. But it will be early December that Unify shows up. I'm out of town for a concert fundraiser that I'm doing with my mom. And we are a company of 2 people. And when this comes out, there's going to be a lot of people contacting us for tech support, and I have to be around. And so if I'm doing a fundraiser for homeless people in Ontario, Oregon, I can't be around. So we're going to have to release it early December. But let's see here. So, okay, you guys are all in the chat. Good. Oh, my screen doesn't look quite right. Let me get this resized right, because I have... Let's see, how do I do this? I need to go here and make this bigger and just like shrink it a little bit like that. There, that gives me more room to work with. Okay, so it'll be like this. There. And then I can get this whole thing here to here. All right, that looks a little bit better. Yeah, so we're just a little, there's a lot to do. I don't even want to go into the details of licensing and important things like that. But we'll get to Unify in a minute. I'm not going to start there. I want to start with Union, because this is pretty cool. Now, Union, let me show you the other synth that has come out that is in this bargain basement department. Let's call up, where is it at here? It is instruments. I'm not going to remember the name of them. I'm going to have to look in Unify. This is when I can load in Unify, because for some reason the Korg ones, we've got, they're using OpenGL in a different way than we've set up Unify for. So we have to set up Unify for that. Let's see here, plugin guru. Unify. So the other one was Babylon. And what I love is I can just go here alphabetically and there's Babylon. So this is the other synthesizer that is new, that is in the bargain basement. And I can actually say, give me another layer, empty, and let's also add Union. It's so much nicer to just go alphabetically to find plugins instead of searching for what company released this. I mean, when you have, this is the way most companies show plugins, right? It's like this. It's like, where do you find Union in that? Well, one of the cool things with Unify is you can make your own subsets. And we've now made our own subsets show up if you're at the top of the list and stick up there. But this is all the plugins that I have currently loaded that are VSTs are right here, and they're alphabetical. And then I've also made, if I wanted to go like, see, I've got the subset that says, oh, I'm showing Korg. Yeah, so here's all the Korg stuff. And I'll just show you what it does right now. It loads up, you see it for a second, then it goes black. So there's some OpenGL thing we're not doing in the way that Unify is working. So we will fix that. But let's see here, go back here to Babylon. So Babylon was the first to come out. And let's mute this. So, and this is also the under $8. Hey, I hope it's all is well, and I have a huge gripe with Union. You got it too. You might not like the mod ADSR. Oh, hey, Kid Anthem. Alan Polly's here. Cool. Yeah. So these patches, if you go to the demo, there's. Oh, Taquita wants to say hi. Hi. Hello. How are you? Let's see if those pictures uploaded. I was gonna see if go over here. Where is it at? Show in Finder. Today, did they upload them? Yeah, so here is Athena and Taquita together, and you'll notice. See, I don't need Text Wrangler at the moment. Oh, make this go away and put this on top. Notice how they are being nice little, they like to sleep in the same bed sometimes, but they're very similar in markings. You know, they have brown patches and they're white, but Taquita is little 1/5 the size version. Little pear head, 4-pound Chihuahua. She's 9.5 years old. We love her very much. Yes, that's Melanie's little girl. And so that's pretty cute. Let's see, there's another, let's see here. Got it. So that's Athena with her unicorn costume on. She didn't like that. And then our pumpkins, I did a pirate, a PCM pirate. Back in the day at Korg, when we were doing the, boy, T series, O and W series, even during the Wave Station, we considered ourselves PCM pirates. We were swapping the decks, you know. And so that, I did a pirate. I got sent it to Jack Hotep, my brother that was part of the he's still part of the Korg voicing team. So that was a pirate. So I learned how to, I had never done this before, where I peel off just a layer of the pumpkin. And then you carve on the inside so that when you light a candle, his eye lights up because it's thin. So I did all of that. It's really fun. I hope you all had a fun, safe Halloween. Shane up in Canada was, actually they had like hurricane level winds. It was crazy stuff. So anyway, so yes, Babylon is very basic. As we talked about last week, it's 2 oscillators that have more controls. The third oscillator is a more simpler kind of sub-os, but it does have controls for phase, panning. So you don't have the unison engine that you have in the first 2. You have noise that you can turn on. I thought it was pretty cool. For $8, it's definitely worth it. I thought the patches were very basic. That's one place where I will tell you, I think the new one that's now out, that's $8 or something, Union, is far better for the money. The patch, the voicing work on this is really good. There's some very cool patches in here, and it's still messing up audio a little bit. I like the sound of the low end. Yeah, it's messing up my clock. So the one thing that's unique about this is you have a little magnifying glass. And here's where you have your filter, your oscillator, your resonance, phase, detune, blend. Mid-side stereo is something you do have panning. Double clicking, you can input values. If I double click up here, it goes back to defaults, which is nice. If you want something to be modulated, like with this envelope, all you have to do is choose right here these little buttons, and you can choose one or the other. You can choose either the mod envelope or the LFO. By clicking this again, it goes blue. And then this shows up as your modulation strength. You cannot have both an LFO and the mod ADSR at the same time. You can't go. There's none of that. So it's one or the other, which is a little bit weird. You have two oscillators. And let's set this to purple. So that means, right? So we have this thing happening. They have these effects in here that are shared. Right? You've got delay, you've got reverb. You can turn it on. Reverb is kind of hokey. I wasn't that. That's the church, hall, or studio. Okay. Then what's cool is you can generate a wavetable for the third oscillator. This third oscillator is made by it actually analyzing, combining, sampling whatever is happening between these two oscillators. Boom. So I can turn down 1 and 2, and it messed up the clock again. And you can open this, and I believe there's a table or something to go through. This is where I octave, chorus, unison, semi. It's like, how would you modulate this? Yeah, I don't see the controls for modulating that. Oh, wavetable. Here we go. So you have a separate control on this magnifier for wavetable. And you can modulate that. And I'm modulating it with my mod. And then if I wanted to make that stronger, and let's make this be the LFO. They need smoothing. They need some. It's a cool idea. Maybe there's some tools here that I'm missing. You need to be able to smooth this out. You can have it. I don't see any tools here. But the idea is cool that you're generating the third oscillator from these other two oscillators. I think maybe they're going to add more things, I hope, in the future to this to do more things. But by using that, you can go through the patches and at least they're doing something different. Hands off to thumbs up for. You've got all these different categories. Again, I gotta say the voicing is not bad. I just don't know with the way that they have this set up. Say I wanted to have the filter cutoff of these guys be modulated with the mod wheel, for example, or something. So it's a little confusing on the interface how well thought out some of this is from what I can tell. Yeah, because we're hearing union, right? Now, one thing I'd be curious about, we have the ability to go into link parameters. Let's go to instrument number 2, plugin. Okay, I have access to all of the parameters that are inside Unison here. So I could set it up to where I have a mod control that's changing the filters and all sorts of things that they don't have currently hooked up from what I can't see in their interface where they have, maybe there's something I'm missing. But when I go over here and I right click, you have different filter types. I don't see any way to modulate this with other things besides, right here's your modulation choices, you know. That seems to be it. By clicking right here, you say mod envelope, click it again, it goes to the LFO. That's it. I don't see any place where they show a list of modulation sources. They need a tab right here that says mod, you know, they need stuff like that. So it's, I don't know, it's could have been a little bit more developed. Maybe they're doing like what we're doing with Unify and we'll add that in the future, but at least I had a couple of these that wouldn't play at all. So again, it sounds great. So I think the CPU issues, hopefully some modulation issues. You do have Unison up to 32 voices per oscillator, which is pretty cool. But you need more controls than just a Unison, right? You need to have like width and all sorts of things. But it's still, it's got this other area down below for additional effects. I don't know, can you change the order? I don't think there's any way to change the order of these at this point. It seems to be like a linear from here into the next type of a layout. Yeah, it's, you know, exactly. It's worth the punt. Worth a punt. You must be from England because it's worth a punt, mate. Yeah, so it's got some interesting ideas to it. I hope they keep developing and adding more to it. CPU isn't too terrible. And that's playing 5 voices of Unison. There's 4 voices of Unison here. Oh, there's actually more. Oh, wow. We have 12 voices of, check this out, guys. This is pretty cool. It's got 12 voices of Unison on oscillator 3. I think we can hit the microphone little things here to turn them off. So here's oscillator 3. Noise, cool. And then 4 voices. The only thing with this interface is if you go, oh, I want this to be a fast attack, you have to go over here and modulate and edit over here for, and like, how do I see to the end of this to, oh, here's minus, and drag, okay. And continue to drag. I need to see the release, or is this release? Oh. And drag. Yeah. Alan, you were talking about no release. Here the filter jumps up. You have to program differently. When you take your finger off the key, the filter release jumps to... interesting. But you would have to go over here and edit that to all three oscillators. You got to go over here to this, zoom out, and now go to this third oscillator, zoom out. So if you want to change the envelopes to the amplifier of this, and I still don't see the release parameter for here. So I want to fix the release and I can't get to it. Right? Let me see here. Here's one. Okay, so edit. Okay, so this is your release. Hit the magnifying glass and zoom out. Well, that's kind of uncomfortably painful to have to edit that way. Okay, so its interface is unique and can be stumbling at times. This is where something like Babylon is nice because at least the envelopes, everything is in front of you. So you can go to your ADSRs for here. If you turn these on, you just have a global ADSR for here, and then you have the separate ones right down here for your modulation and for modulations, separate envelopes. So you can see them and get to them pretty easily. Union, they kind of forgot to think about, see, if I was sitting and doing voicing on this, I would be complaining to the developers like within a couple of hours saying, okay, some cool ideas here, but this is really difficult to work with as a programmer. So many times these synthesizers come out and it's like an engineer did that and they didn't think about the flow. How it flows is really painful. To have to go over here to 3 separate magnifying glasses, right? That's just kind of a difficult design because you have to go there and here's your close. You have to go here and close, here and close to edit the envelopes of the patch. So be aware it takes a lot of footsteps to get around it, to work with it. It's not just something that's easy to work with. But it does sound not bad. The engine itself is nice. Plucks. None of these are reusable plucks. It's like, okay, pluck. Pluck is a fast attack and it has release. This has no release. It can work. At least it has a decay working rate. Again, mod wheel doesn't do anything on anything. It's like they forgot that there's a mod wheel. I don't even think any of the basses. Yeah. So don't plan on doing expressive mod things with this, the way it works. But again, It's a fairly inexpensive sound source, but that's disappointing. If you work with this inside of Unify in the future, we'll have so that you can, we're going to fix these types of deficiencies in plugins all over the place. So you'll have a place where you can set the mod. I could do right now where, check this out. If I go over here, I could say link parameters. I don't know what their parameters are, but we could go to plugin 2 to find, let's see, where's their phaser levels, master filter cutoff. So I'm editing things inside of this that they can't edit themselves. That's really interesting. Oh, you know what? I don't have I'm not using the master filter. That would be this guy right here. That's probably here, which is probably off. If we go to filter, and they change the order around. So there must be some way to change the order around. And they have an LFO doing that. Right? But I have the mod wheel of Unify doing something that Union can't do. So that's where Unify is going to come in really handy for this kind of stuff, because they don't have programmed anything to the mod wheel. You can still get to the mod wheel with Unify. So, yeah, and we'll make this more graceful over time. This is just the version 1 interface for it. Anyway, Union. You can get it at pluginboutique.com. Let me show you that. Cancel. Come over here. New plugin boutique. I always mess up getting to the website. Right here is Plugin Boutique. And I think they will show, oh, there's this new carbon guitar synth. Oh, they don't even show it on the front page. But if you search for Union, I believe it's still here. And it's 95% off. $7.99. So yeah, Union is available. It has potential. It's not the most smooth bird to fly, but it is what it is. For $7.99, it's too hard to complain too much about it. But I just don't see. There's a settings page here where you can register. I'm a valid license, thank goodness, right? But that's it. That's all there is under settings. Then you can go to the website for SoundSpot. Please send some email to SoundSpot. If you buy this, go to their website and say, where's an update where I have things I can change with the mod wheel? Oh, I know what it is. You have to click right here. And now you can change the order of the effects. Duh. I'm a little slow. You've got the little plus. That's the universal sign, it seems, for being able to change the order of things. So if you want, you can click down here and drag it to where you want the order to be, right? I didn't see anything for the wavetables for smoothing. You can scan through the beginning, and then here's the end for the modulation, but they need some tools here, because once it does this, wavetable is captured, you need to be able to generate something that is smooth, I think. Anyway, check it out if you want. I give it a buy. For the money, it's worth it. And then just bug SoundSpot to keep on top of supporting it, to bring it out to have more capabilities. Up next, I want to show you Gadget. And let's do this. Let's see if I run it here. I might be able to run both at the same time. Gadget, let me go to audio. If I set this to here, we should be able to hear it. Let me load a demo song. Let's see if I go over here. Oh, I got to hit cancel. Open. Now, let me see here. Let me get to OBS, make sure that you can hear this. Yeah. So this is Gadget 2.5. And it has currently running all these different synthesizers are playing. And it does it in this sequence where it's, right? The weird thing with this that it's listening to all MIDI channels by default, which means when I play a note, it plays all the sounds at once, including the drums down here, which is weird. It's like it was this, they need to have a little record button you can click so you're just playing one of these at a time. And it doesn't seem that you can, when I highlight this, I can solo it. So I can hear the parts, but it's just weird. You can play from your keyboard, but it still plays everything. I heard drums in there. Oh no. Okay. It's the new generation where you don't use keys. We don't use keys anymore. You just use your computer keyboard. So if you play from your keyboard, then you can play everything. So yeah, interesting. So they do this layout. They've got, now it's got linked to Ableton Live. You can very easily get your phone version and the desktop and Ableton Live all synchronized, nice and snappy. They have all these demo songs. I'll play a couple more to give you, it's really well, I mean, you know, I come from Korg and there's a lot of my sounds sample-wise and stuff inside of this. If you want to fast forward, for some people, you'll love to work this way, right? Ready, go. If you click it and it flashes, it just waits till the right time. If you double click, it jumps to it. I mean, it sounds great. It's really, really well done. And what's cool is you can quit this, don't save. I can go to Logic and I can go over here to my plugins and check this out. I can go down here to the Korg folder. All of those instruments are available as separate plugins. Arcade, little Bell FM things. So we'll go through a whole bunch of these. I'll show you some of the different things that are inside of here. We can also compare between what's called Milpitas, because that's the town in California where Korg R&D is. That's why the Wave Station is called Milpitas. That's the name of the city down by San Jose where we made the Wave Station. So it's kind of cute that they did that. I don't know, Memphis for the MS-20, so forth. Let's just go down some of these. I actually did this. If I go here, I wanted to show this first just because this is Wazara. This is a new thing that was added into version 2.5. There's another version of this on the iPad that's more complete with more controls called Electribe Wave. Let me see, image. Here we go. So if I go like this, why did I do that? Yeah. So this is Electribe Wave. And so it's a more complete version of this. Both of them contain 40 wavetables licensed by me. Inside of this table list, when you go through these, 40 of these are waves that I created for Mega Wave for Serum. So I've renamed them and given them unique names over here. But my wavetables are inside of both Wazara as well as Electribe Wave, as well as Mega Wave for Serum. So if you want the, let's see if we go here to X for Records Serum. Come over here. If we go to Mega Wave, there's two versions of Mega Wave. We've got Mega Wave. Here's Epic. If you go to the wave list down here to Mega Wave tables, a whole bunch of these tables are what you find inside of there. And so I use those for making Seth Norman, who's now at Spectrasonics, is part of their voicing team. Worked with me back in the day. There's both Evil and then Epic. This is Epic. Evil is even more dubsteppy and donkey and right? By the way, I decided, because I have a live stream today, to extend. If you guys follow my business, I don't do 50% off sales very often, and I'm doing a 50% off sale. I'll do it one more time for Black Friday because that's kind of the way everything goes. But for one more day until the end of tonight, Saturday, it's 50% off everything at the site. So if you want to buy some new patches, if you want to play with Mega Wave, which is one of my favorite libraries for Serum, they're all on sale. But those wavetables that were in Mega Wave that I created, there's even videos on YouTube showing my process of how I made those. Those are inside of, let's get back to here, close that, and go back to here. Yeah, to Wazara. And it doesn't sound like Serum. It's close. It's not bad. But it's not, I can't make these any bigger because it's graphics or just bitmaps. So let's do this. Let me do this because all the Korg stuff are tiny. So I'm going to zoom in like this. Okay. And I can actually make this a little bit bigger even because we have the technology. So this is, let's do it a little bit smaller. All right. So you have right? Here's it. You can, there's some synthesis stuff to apply. Unison, up to 4 voices, I believe. And the key to anything like this, to make it sound huge, is just, let's go like over to, I love this trick, EXS24. And transpose it down. Without any samples, it's a cool sine wave. So you can fatten them up. These by themselves. But the graphics are really cool the way that they did them. And I think you have the filter right here. You have EQ. You have insert effects that you can choose. We went tame. Right? So there's a lot hiding inside this plugin. And let's see if we wanted to look at the mod. That's over here. Right? So this is one of the synths. Another one that's inside here that is really, there's so many cool ones. Let's go Korg. Abu Dhabi. This is a slicer with an arpeggiator built into it. So you can play different kits. And if you go to the ARP, you can see it's 16th notes, and you can choose what type of ARP mode it is. There's no latch. This is another one where inside of Unify, we can add latch to things like this. So you can hold down the sustain pedal and it'll keep going, but you can't do it here by itself. So let's play with this for a minute. So let's use this and let's turn on click. So I've made a little sequence. Okay, let's go to number 6. Let's go to another one to start. Let's get drums going. So let's go up here. We'll save that. We're going to come back to that. But instead of Alexandria, I'm going to go here. I'll share what I'm doing as I do this. Why not? Right? So let's go over here. Let's look at the list. We're going to find drums. Gladstone. Let's see. Oh my goodness. So this ballroom kit, I have to tell you, this is a drum kit I recorded at a ballroom here in Portland, Oregon. And there's a jazz kit. Yeah, so these are drum kits from the Korg Oasis. They don't have all the velocity samples. And they have some other kits as well. But the ballroom, distant kit. Oh, cool. And by user, they have a folder you can import your own samples into, which is cool. And whatever you click, you can change the tuning. Cool. So we got that. Let's see here. Let's I'm seeing two screens of myself at once. It's really weird. Get back to this page and quantize. And we'll do that. 1, 2. So we made it a mess, but we'll quantize it. Cool. This is the MS-20, which you can see the patch bay and drag things around and move them up. So we're in the key of G now. Wave station. Oh my goodness. This is a famous one. Oh my God, these are patches. I made these patches 30 years ago. Hey, it's Jerry Seinfeld. Oh my goodness. There's a ton of nostalgia here because, yeah, this is one of the babies that I worked many, many years on. Now, if you go down here, I have the full wave station. You'll notice that it has far more of the cards. It has all these really cool wares like Funky Planet. And where is it? Layers of Funk 9, 10, 11, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one. 6 is the ethnic card. I worked with Jack Hotep on this. We programmed this on an M3 rack with the 8 buttons. I did all the programming with those 8 buttons to So let's put that into the groove. Now let's split that up into a couple different things. So and I want to go to 5 right here and trim that and split it. And then come over here. I like that other phrase, T, split it. So we can have both of these going on at once. So we have like that. Have this show up the second time through and loop this. BPM this. So there's a ton of stuff to play with. There's so many different synthesizers. Let me show you a few others that are really cool. Abina, this is based on Taito. They have a relationship they started in Japan. For 8-bit sounds. They also have, I saw another arcade, Kingston. All right, we got that silly idea put in. They have more drums. Let me see what else I got. Cool. Okay, this is fun. So yeah, there's a ton of fun. And on top of this, you have pianos and organs and other traditional instruments, samplers, effects like Amsterdam, which is big hits, just 4 sounds. So it's great stuff. What's the difference between the WaveStation and the standalone iOS version? Just reading some of the questions. Yeah, the Legacy Collection is really great. It's simplified preset playing only for the WaveStation version in here, as far as I can tell. It's actually really cool. Check it out. So let's go Korg Milpitas. They did some cool stuff with the graphics. You can call up a patch like this and then go to the wave sequence page and you can see it going on, right? See, this has the wave sequencing happening here for the lead, for the mini. The airvox is down here just going. But you can see everything that's going on. We don't hear 6. Part C. Level. So you do have output control. There it is. Oh, if you play soft, then it shows up. Where's the velocity controls? Do we have? Oh. Levels, loops, pitch. Oh, we do have access to parameters. Okay, wow. So you have, wow, impressive. I think you can program everything in here in the wave station right here. You've got the different parameters. Wow, you even have a resonant filter. We didn't have a resonant filter when we did the original wave station. Very cool. Yeah, but Blow the Bottle, Ballerina Bells, these are all mine. The rock guitar, Cascade Falls, I made this. It's funny to see your name on patches now in software that you did 30 years ago. Pretty cool. But yeah, so it's a pretty cool set. From my understanding, the parity between the iPad version and the computer version here is pretty similar, if not identical. I've heard people say they can't tell the difference between them. So it's just, be aware of, I've been wanting to say something about this for a while. And then I worked with them on the Waves station, the Electribe Wave, and I heard it was coming to Gadget. So I waited till now to share with you this, but they have, here's piano. The download is over 4 gigabytes. It's nice. Here's all your presets. Choir piano. Let's see. I don't think you have access. You have scales, octaves. I don't think you get to choose what the layer is. So there's pianos and then pianos plus layers in there. They have the organ, and this has some of the great organs from the Oasis. Where's Leslie? Oh, here's your rotations. So you have there's an organ. So you got some nice different B3s. You have a clav I saw in here for sure. Brussels is cool. This has a pump and repeat. So if you want this to pump, just right. Oh, that's right. I changed the wave station to be this. So again, there's 40 different instruments. I've only shown like maybe less than 10. Darwin, the M1. Universe, the sampled patch that started it all. If you want to know even more history, this is the first card of voicing that I did in my professional career for Korg in 1990, the drum card. And it was one of these where most of these patches were made while I worked at a music store in Seattle, Washington. So, and they're like, we have this drum card, and this is where I got into doing drum maps. But Xanos, all these patches. New Winds. These are what I used to sell M1s at this music store. Sold like 30 of them in the first month. But the first job was they needed patches for this drum card. So I did the programs, I did the multis. I don't know, can we get to combis? These are the programs. Maybe it's only program level. If you get the full M1 from the digital collection, it has all of the cards, programs, and combinations. So you can get to the combinations as well. Card 5, Elm Street. These are the combinations for the drum card. Yeah, I did these 30 years ago. So, the M1 full version has more to it than the Darwin, as they call it, since it's an appropriate name because it was like the beginning of before this, it was synthesizers that were either analog or as a sampler. And it's like, okay, I'm going to show you the strings. And you'd go get the string discs and you'd plug them in and you'd wait and change 3 discs, floppy discs, while it loaded up string samples into your Casio sampler or something like that. So the Roland S50 was a big one. And then the M1 came out that changed everything because they'd burned onto ROM chips all of the samples. So you could just immediately go from this to piano, to this, to bass. And right there, your customer next to you is freaking out and wanting to buy this because this is something that was physically impossible for the M1 to do. I just wonder if there's a way to get to more like popular bass. Here's your M1 bass for if you want the bass that was used for all of the Jerry Seinfeld's. That's it right there, my friends. I just wonder how do you get past 23? That's one thing I'm not sure about. Is it's like, okay, I want to go above that. It's like stops at 23, right? It's like, wait. There's more patches than that. So okay, so the really fun stuff with the $8 Union. I definitely recommend that to play with if you need new sounds. Hopefully they will continue to develop that and get it to where you can use mod wheel to control sounds in some ways. And if not, you can do that with Unify. Korg Gadget with the 43 effects. I kind of wish that the good people at Propeller Heads would have done this, where things were separated, but that goes against their religion. They're all into the ability to patch between the different plugins, but it's more useful to me, and I think more cool to have all of these cool different things, different samplers and different. So Vancouver is a cool vocal synth. Right? It just goes on and on. I've seriously barely touched the surface of what you have. The Pompeii is the Poly 6. You know, sounds pretty good. Okay, so let's talk about my favorite little option, and that's Unify. And we now are sitting really pretty. Let me. Bye. So that was fun. Unify is now about finalized. And I do have to apologize because I originally wanted this to be out, if possible, before the end of November. But there's a couple things going on that make that just really not feasible in reality, because I have to remember I am a two-person company. There's Shane doing the coding and myself. And I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. And I have, let me scroll this out so we can get everything to fit. I have a very important fundraiser that I have done for a number of years. My mom, that I love very much, does a fundraiser in my hometown of Ontario, Oregon each year to raise money for homeless. And we've raised, they raise on average $15,000 or so, maybe each year, something like that. And I've been a part of that for the last 6-7 years. I play remix Christmas carols. If you look on this YouTube channel, you'll find some of those things are remixes and so forth. Oh yeah, I don't know about the MIDI driver, Michael. What's the difference between Korg Legacy and Korg Gadget 2? Korg Legacy is a series of the M1 Wave Station, the full-blown synthesizers that I showed you that had the program mode and the combination mode and stuff. Inside of Gadget are simplified versions of those that sound pretty much the same. They're not identical. They don't claim to be identical, but pretty similar. What's with the missing black keys on the virtual keyboard of Gadget? I don't know. General summary for John and chat was that for the price, it's worth it, but it has lots of room for improvements. Yeah. Union is cool, but its programming is, you got 3 different pluses for 3 different oscillators to get to 3 different envelopes to control the release envelope. So it's painful. Anyway, so we're going to talk about Unify. This is pretty much Unify 1.0. I've promised Shane I'm not going to ask for any more features. He wants to do the licensing and the important things that are important to our survival when we release this, and I keep asking for new features, and I have stopped. But we have some really cool last minute additions. For one thing, when you go to MIDI effects and you add a MIDI effect, we are now able to continue adding MIDI effects beyond 2. It's unlimited. So if you need to have 6 sequencers, boom, you can have 6 different MIDI effects. It's very easy to go right here and choose the routing of which of these MIDI effects are going to that layer. Here's all 6 MIDI effects. You just say, I want 5, and now this one layer is being controlled by MIDI effect number 5. And I really believe MIDI effects, which have already blown up, are going to continue to blow up. And so I wanted this to ship supporting more than 2. And so, and the other things that are cool and unique is that one MIDI effect, we can now option click to make these go away. So I can option click, option click, option click. One MIDI effect can now control all 3 layers. This is something that's almost impossible to do in other DAWs. And if so, it takes a lot of tricky routing, and to get back to it is really hard. This can be saved as a preset so you can call it up later really easily. It's really, really cool how it works. I just love the flow. You're still dealing with opening multiple plugin windows and so forth, right? But it's manageable. And to me, it's an advantage, because all these synthesizers I'm showing you, except for Union where they're separate, but it's hard to get to, each one of these has their own amp envelope. So it's like I can build sounds and think of this, and each one of these has its own amp envelope for release, so I can control things, have things fade in and not have everything else fade in. I do want to say, as I show you this, to remember, Unify is pretty freaking magical on a whole lot of levels. It loads things super fast. We're not having to load up the user interfaces of things. So I can go to things and it loads them very quickly. But this is still 4 synthesizers. And it's, if you were to load up 4 synthesizers, it would take 4 tracks on your DAW. So remember, with CPU power, it's not super magical. There is CPU power being consumed. And so some of these that I show, and I have to remember when I'm voicing these and stuff, is when I call up some of these, this is 3 tracks. Whoa, what's going on? Right? The other thing that we've now done is that we finalized it so that the effects and stuff that are built into Unify show up at the top of the list. So these are the synthesizers that come with Unify. The samplers are right here. And we do have currently showing the MDA piano and electric piano. I think we probably will hide those because they're not very CPU efficient. They distort. There's all sorts of problems with them. I kind of want, in fact, I'll talk to Shane about this, but there'll probably just be one folder here that shows you all these plus sampler, and these special things can be in a separate folder. We'll figure that out. But we just got this done today. So this just showed up. We worked really hard. We've now finalized, here, let me zoom in so you can see these. We've finalized the names of the effects, which is really cool. This is one of those things that we've been working on for a while, and we've asked the beta testers for ideas. And we've come up with names that I think are pretty cool. There's Omega Delay, and this is for our delay, which has stereo delay with drift, with feedback that's analog or digital in nature, with distortion. This currently doesn't have the drawing distortion. We will add that in the future. And either single or multi-tap ensemble chorus in a single effect. We'll add cool graphics for this in the future because this is a really, really cool delay. I love how it works. We have other cool names for our effects now. Things like distortion is Noisebox. So it's kind of a throwback tribute to Skippy's Noisebox. If you remember back in the day, that's a drum loop library I released. I decided that would be a cool name for the distortion. This is a distortion where you can go into the custom and you can draw your own distortion tables and curvatures and all sorts of things. And we will add other modes in the future to Distortion Box. It has pre-filtering with resonance and post-filtering with resonance. It's incredible. I love it. I love it. I love it. Other cool names we came up with for things, the dynamics, the compressor is called Enforcer, which is cool. Oh, wait, go Enforcer, dynamics, Enforcer. It's just a simple compressor, but Enforce is a cool name for a compressor, something unique. We also have for EQ restrictor. That is our combination of high pass and low pass. So you can curve down the high end and the low end. So if we were to initialize a patch and go over here and say just the sampler, so, right? If we call up the enforcer, you can control both the low end and the high end with separate dB. Right? Okay. We also have the flexi filter. I think that's what we called it, right? Flexi, yeah, flexi EQ, which has two bands that are peaks and then a high and a low shelf. And we'll cover this in more detail when I'm going to do a little video manual for when it. But the way that the low shelf and the high shelf actually work with gain as well. It's you can set a frequency, like say I want 120 or so. Let's type in 120. So it's 120 hertz. Oh, not 20. 120 hertz. This is a gain to add or take away anything below 120 hertz. Okay? So I can do both high pass filtering to remove it, or to add it. And then these are two peak filters. So you can get really flexible with the EQ to do all sorts of cool things. Try not to do what other EQ does because that's already out there, but it's very usable. We got silky chorus and phase mod. There's also a flanger that I don't see in the list, but we'll get it in the list. And then for reverb, we have the water verb, which I love. If we were to just filter this, so just a sawtooth through the water verb is killer. Right? And then we have other reverbs as well. We have that reverb is just incredible. Hall verb. Which has freeze, by the way, so you can freeze it, turn to cool textures and stuff like that. There's also the M verb and Z verb, Zen verb, which actually has a high, mid, and a low, so you can control different times for the different EQ settings, so you can do some really flexible things. Right? So it's very flexible, very zen. And then we have Klangfalter, which is a convolution reverb, which has the ability to load up both different reverbs. So we could say over here, choose some of these nice reverbs, like this has delay in it. So if I was to say, go back here and again, what's fun with this is these effects are built into or else connected because they're plugins through the GPL licensing and we have access to use them. They're showing up right there at the top of the list. These can be used with whatever plugins you load, plus all your other effects that are built in. So I've got subsets for all the delays from all the different companies. You can make your own subsets so easy. There's 2 tabs. The plugin up is where you can scan for audio units, VST or VST3. And then once you've decided what you have available, here's where you can organize it for what you see under instruments, under audio effects, and MIDI effects. So under instruments, if I went to the Korg one, I could remove all these. I could say select all and remove. And so now when I save this, Korg currently now has nothing, right? When I go to my subsets, it's grayed out. I can go over here. I could just type in Korg. And all these show up because it says Korg at the end of the plugin. Select all, add all. I got to choose a subset first. So choose Korg subset, add all, save. And just like that, now when I go back to my subsets, I've made a subset showing all those Korg synthesizers. So it's really cool to make your own subsets for how you want to work, how you want your plugins to show up. You have, as I showed you, MIDI effects, instruments. You have 4 auxiliary buses, and as you add each one, a new send over here shows up for sending to them. And then the master effects is the final where you can put master sweetening. I have a little chain that I use, which is of the EQ, the compressor, and loud max at the very end for sonic compression. And I love it. Will it be possible to build templates into Unify? Absolutely. In fact, it will come with templates. I'll have templates for splits and for velocity switches and 2 things on the left hand, 2 things on the right hand. In fact, here, let's make one right now. So if we wanted to, we'd say init, and let's say the top note, if I right click, I can play notes. So I'm gonna say duplicate this. And then for this one, the top is gonna be all the way to the top, but the bottom is now gonna be C, and I've made a split. And I could say save as a split, and now I'd have a template with this. And if I had it where I had certain effects that I wanted in my template, it's very easy now to go in and say save and go through the save process. Let me show you some of the sounds that I've made so far. I asked Shane for a parameter yesterday, which was added to the DX10 from MDA. And that's the mod wheel to vibrato. It used to be that it was always on. So there'd always be pitch LFO. So he went into the MDA code, modified it. So there's no longer pitch LFO. And the MDA effects are in a really unique state in that they are not even GPL. With the GPL stuff like OBXD, we've done things like added voices of polyphony, and we have shared that code with the original developer of OBXD, and he has put that into OBXD as the 1.5 release that's available. And we have plans to continue supporting, I need to make it so you can see it better, sorry. We have plans to continue to support, let's see if I go like this, I need to shrink it so you can see it all. Whoops. Like that, okay? We have plans to continue to support OBXD with new features, and we will share our updates to the developer so he can add them to the OBXD that is still a free download. Actually, it's not. From him, it's a paid download, but he's given us permission to use it and to develop it and share with him the updates. No, it's free. There's a free version. I know that there's a free version as well. I get confused with that because he has it. Zoom back out, please. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, we got some parameters that got messed up. So option, click to update the save. Bells. And the sounds are, you know, I'm very happy. And there will be a boatload of patches. Now that we've locked the parameters, I'm really going to go crazy with voicing. I've been waiting to this point, learning and getting into this and experimenting. I love some of the sounds. These are nice. Let's see, modify note. Filtering. Just a little bit of distortion in this, just to give it a little attitude. Breath of fresh air came out nice. So nice. It's fun to play. And because of this input curvature, you can I can make DX much more velocity sensitive. By default, it's like this. Just by adding a little bit of exponential curve, it plays so much nicer. So I am so thrilled for this to be done, and to be at this place is a nice feeling. And I'm sorry, it will take us a little while to get this out. We have a lot of under the hood stuff to get done. And then, like I said, my mom does this Help Them to Hope concert, and that is December 1st. And I'm going to need some time before that to work up the Christmas carols that I'm going to play. And I can't release this, have people emailing me for customer support while I'm driving to Idaho and doing a concert and spending time with my family. And so I'm going to wait till I come back from my fundraising concert, and then we will release Unify. We're going to do it small scale because we're concerned about just, I don't want this to blow up and then have 300 people with tech support questions, because it's just me. I have to answer all the tech support questions to start with, because I don't have finances to hire, a whole voicing team. There's a lot of these companies have a whole separate voicing team for tech support, not a voicing team, but a whole separate team for tech support. I don't have that. It's just me and Takeda. Maybe she can help with tech support. You want to help with tech support? So we have to be realistic and keep it I want this to grow slowly over time. I don't need to do this for $8 and try to get 10,000 people to buy it. That's the last thing I want to do. So that's the plan. I think December 5th is the date we're looking at, because I have to drive back from Idaho and all that kind of stuff. So that's when we will release. We're going to do it small scale. I will let people on Facebook know, and I will send an email probably to users through my email channel, but there's going to be no big thousands of notes to everybody. I'm not going to do boosted posts on Facebook to let 20,000 people know. That's the last thing I want, because I need to slowly turn into a plug-in company. This is a transformation for me. And so you guys have to be just a little patient on that front. And I thank you for that patience because I want this to go well. Our beta test phase has been great. The people have really been helpful at helping us find a couple places where we've fixed some things. Yeah, I love some of these plugs. This is one of those where if you right click on solo, you can go down the list and you see that I'm using just the basic waveform stereo noise, high pass. And by adding that, here's without it. And we're going through now and naming all the layers. At some point in the future, all these layers will be available as a separate thing to load. We have so many places. You have no idea how many cool things will be coming to Unify in the future. This is our version 1 entry, you know, and then we're going to go from here into all sorts of stuff. In the blink of an eye. Oh! Yeah, we have to look. Some of the parameters are not covering and cutting across. Let's see. That's probably more like what I had. I could have the keyboard up here so you can see what's happening. I don't have to have show MIDI anymore, which is nice. So we now have unlimited MIDI effects. We have the ability to do all sorts of things with routing for these guys. We have the final names. They show up on the top of the list. Everything is working without crashing for the most part. I've been changing patches and I have yet to kill, and I don't want to risk blowing up, but now I can start programming the daylights out of this because there's all sorts of libraries in Guru Sampler that needs to have lots of patches for them. So there will be patches for all these. The viola, violin, and cello get to play together. All sorts of things are going to happen. With voicing, I've got the owner's manual I have to write. I have videos I have to create on how to use Unify. I'm going to do videos on each of the synthesizers that comes with Unify so that you have a little look at how these work and parameterize. There's just absolute boatloads of work to do. Will Unify be tied to our Plugin Guru account? Yes, it will be tied to your Plugin Guru account. We have no demo version to start because that will be another massive headache. But in January, I'm going to be at the NAMM show in Anaheim. And at that time, we will be probably releasing the demo, which will be, the demo is an interesting thing because what we are doing for the demo is basically you are getting Unify with all of the samples, with all of these patches, but the code to program and to call up these interfaces and the ability to edit anything is gone. So you'll be able to play all of these sounds. Right? They'll totally play just as you hear now. You can control volume. You'll probably have mute and solo and stuff like that, but you can't change anything. You can't go in here and say, I want to use, you can't do any of this. You can't edit anything, but you can play it and it's going to sound great. The only difference between the demo version and the full version is with the full version, you can edit and you can change things. You can make your own things. You can save things. But the demo version, what will be cool with it is it will be able to play libraries that I sell or that other people sell. So we're doing it in a way where libraries that you add to Unify Standard or to the demo are serial number authorized. And if the demo version is authorized to play a library from the Unfinished or from somebody else that makes a library that's using Omnisphere and Zebra, for example, right? You own Omnisphere, you own Zebra, you can get the free demo version and it will play the patches. You don't have to own Unify and it will sound great. And all of these samples that are here, all of these effects, the Unfinished could use those for making his patches because this list of all these effects are always there. But in the demo version, you only get to play it. It's a player, straight player, but it will play other libraries that you will buy for the demo version. So you can have the demo version. If you want to edit things and change things, then you'll need to own the standard or when we release it, the pro version. Okay. So that's the business model we have. The demo version is going to be one of the best sounding free demo synthesizers you can get because it'll sound like this. It will play the way I want it to play. But you can't change anything. And then if you want, hopefully the thing is like, oh, this is so cool. I want to change things, so you come and you buy the library and the full plugin from yours truly. And I make enough money to keep doing this and developing this and paying Shane. Shane has worked on this, just so you guys know, since January without me sending him a penny. It's just a mind-blowing scenario that we have had a relationship. We believe in this product. He stopped taking on side gigs and gigs that earned him money to do this. So we want this to be successful. We have really big aspirations and plans for this. This is going to do all sorts of cool things, but it's taken a lot of work to get here, but we want to do it right. And I think we got a really, really good strategy. Let's see some of the questions. Have you and Shane ever been in the same room together? No, we have not. We talk like at least 90 minutes by Skype daily, usually, on things that are going on. This relationship has been so wonderful because I'm like, well, that's not quite right. I want it to be like this. And Shane is able to like, okay, we'll share screen, show me, and I can show him what it's doing. And he understands then what it's doing. And we can get, so he can write the code to make it do what I'm thinking it should be doing. And that has happened over on a daily basis with how everything in this works. So it's been a really wonderful relationship, but we haven't met. We're going to meet at the NAMM show because I'm booking an Airbnb and he's flying out to be at the show, and we will be there. At the current moment, we're planning to be at Ilio booth, which is really exciting. We're talking to them about a distribution deal. So they'll be helping us get Unify into music stores, stuff like that. Let's see here. Wavetables and Gadget. Where can you find? The Wavetables and Gadget 2 are found right here. Let's see. You need to go to, it's a synthesizer plugin called Wazawa. I think that's right. Wazawa, right? ZR. It is Wazarawa, I guess. I don't know. Now, you cannot import your own wavetables. You cannot generate, as far as I can tell, although this is factory atmosphere. Oh, they have samples too. Interesting. Look at this. They have pianos, clavs, organs. But there is no place to input your own wavetable samples at this point. Oh, so, okay. So you guys were asking about this. I think I understand this. So if we close this, there's this scale option. And you can say chromatic. And you can say the range you want it to show. 1 octave or 2 octaves or 3 octaves or 4 steps. You can have it display things differently. 2 steps, and we want it to be shifted 1 step. Wow, 12. 12 would be chromatic, right? So that's what happens with this area down here. Depending on scale, you could say Dorian in D, and now, and I want to be up a couple octaves, so I could say here, and you have octave up and down to shift here. Right, that's kind of the iPad interface. But that's why it shows you what it shows you. If I say chromatic, and I say 12 steps, and I want it to be 2 octave range, there. That's what that's for. Okay, we got that figured out. Yay. Wow. It's dual samples. There's a sample, and that's a different sample. Here's the split point. So the wavetables can be multi-sample based. Wow. Cool. So yeah, so there are all sorts of different wavetables in here to work from. The factory ones are where you get to the pulse width, the unisons, the saw signals. These are all mine. Electro bass, roar. I had to come up with all these names and send them to use. So that's pretty fun. So there, yeah. Yes, we are based on the Juice architecture is what we were using. Yeah, but it's Warsawa, S-A-W-A. There's an A at the end of the name. So it's kind of a play on Warsaw. Yes, but it's Warsawa, right? So kind of funky. All right. My camera's been kind of funny the whole time. Get back here. It's about time to say sayonara. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. I've had a really good time. Always a good time. And yeah, so it's kind of fun to have you guys along on the development of Unify. Where are we at? Oh, this is Omnisphere. We're going to get back to Unify. And can we see it in the window? Yeah, but we can get to the right a little bit more like that. Okay, any questions before we go? I'm sorry if I missed some up here. Oh, great. Ken did a shout out. Unify be tied to her. Yeah, so there'll be a separate web page. That'll be the Unify Synth page. But as far as purchase accounts go and stuff, it will be your same account that you have now. Let's do shout outs because people are already shouting out. I love it. You guys shout out from wherever you are. Global modulation in Unify coming, but it's you do have global modulation right here where you can say linked parameters and you have access to, I've got, let's see, 2 synthesizers. I've got sampler and DexEd. So if I go to the instruments to number 2, I have both the effects. So I can look at the settings in the effect, but I also have access to all the parameters in the plugin. and you can have multiples assigned to the same. I could go here to this one and to this effect and to the plugin and have this be another parameter. And I could reverse so that this one is going in the opposite direction with a different curve setting for each parameter. So I have minimum, maximum, and curvature, which can actually have breakpoints, which is pretty cool. So I can do all sorts of things modulation controller wise. And as it travels through here, it will change values based on this. And this could be a ton of parameters. And we will work at making that interface a little bit simpler to use in the future for sure. But it's only these real-time controllers for modulation sources of all the plugins to start with. We will be adding some sort of global things. We're looking at that. I'm not going to say we will because we have to test it first to make sure that it works consistently, reliably, and stuff like that. But yeah. North Carolina, where the kids are screaming. Oh, Bill, sorry to hear that. Greetings from Holland, Poland, Kingston, of course, 'cause that's where Shane is. Port Ludlow in Washington, Nottingham in the UK. We'll make an album. I now have Logic. Okay. Must be success. Good luck, Ivar. Yeah. San Francisco for Michael. Good to see you. Good to see you all. Don't forget, website 50% off. There's 10 hours left. This the second it hits 12:01 in the morning, sale is off. So save money if you want. I thank you for your support. It means a great deal that I have so many people that are great, awesome customers. I thank you all. Portland, Freakland, Oregon. Good to see you, Big E. We're due for a lunch, my friend. Oh, and here's Takita. Do you want to say goodbye to everybody? Do you want to say goodbye to everybody? Let's see here. Let me make sure I can see her. Just make sure she's looking all right. Here's Takita. She says bye. Thanks for watching. Did you have a good time? She just sat on my lap on a pillow the whole time, being cozy, sleeping. It's pretty funny. All right. Thank you all for joining in, for your support. Have a great week, and we will see you soon, okay? Macho Drums. Oh, cool. Right on, David. Have fun. And we will see you in another one of these soon. All right? Be well. Bye-bye.